Okay, so today we're going to make an egg roll in a bowl, basically. I'm going to use a salad bowl. So that's pork, ground pork. I'll just break that up. Okay, so we're going to fry that up. Sorry, that was loud. We're going to fry that up. In the meantime, I'm going to chop up here some carrots and celery, if I could get organized. Okay, so I've cut up a little bit of carrot, I've cut up a little celery. You can cut it any way you want. Tiny if you're in a hurry. Just going to slice up a few here. Kind of thin. Because it's not going in an actual egg roll, you can just chop it up. We're just going to throw it into a bowl or a leaf of lettuce. You could do this as an appetizer. You can pair it with some other things to make a full dish, or just eat it. We're going to have it as lunch. I'm just cutting these fairly thin. All right, I'm going to give that a once through. And there's all our celery cut up. So I'm going to go ahead and throw that in the pan. Along with the beef, the pork. And dump in the carrot as well. And I'm going to cook it all together. And you can use the fat from the pork to fry up those veggies and give them a little extra flavor while they're cooking too. And then I'll get the other ingredients together as we just let that cook out. Cooking that on like a medium high. Sorry. Alright, I'm going to quickly cover that. That steam will help a little bit to cook it quicker. And I'll chop up some cilantro and get a few more things for this. So I also have 3 eggs here, which I'm going to break and just mix up with a fork. And just break those all up, and I'm going to fry that in with that. So this really is a complete meal by the time you have your vegetables, your egg, your pork. I also have some ginger here. Sorry, ginger. And I keep my ginger frozen, so this is just a chunk of ginger, just to show you. And all you do with ginger is, I keep it in the freezer. It's a lot easier to work with. And you just peel off, or scrape off if it's frozen, the bark here. And then you just grate it up. I find it way easier to grate when it's frozen. You don't get, it's very, very fibrous and hard to work with when it's thawed. So then all we do, sorry, move this out a little bit. All I do is I take my microplane here and then just grind it up. And I'm looking for about 2 tablespoons. So I have half a gram, or you can use ground pork, about a pound of ground pork, and I just cut up 2 carrots, 3 ribs of celery, and now I'm just doing 2 tablespoons of ginger, grated finely. See how it's all fibrous? Oh, there you go. See how you can see all the little fine feathers of it right there? It's very fibrous. So when it's frozen, it's way easier to grate and process. So I just like this, wrap it up, throw it back in the freezer once I'm done grating it. So while I've got that, I'm just going to chop up a little bit of this cilantro as well, just to give it a little bit of freshness and that Asian flavor. Now, if you don't like cilantro, I love cilantro. I think it's refreshing, but you either have one of two sets of taste buds for cilantro. It's either going to taste refreshing and bright to you, or it's going to taste like soap. So when people say, oh, I hate cilantro, they get that soapy taste in their mouth, and I don't, so I love cilantro. And I'll pair it. It pairs really well with fruit to just give a completely different contrast. So tacos, I love to add pineapple. I love to add mango, oranges, anything like that. It just contrasts so nicely. But I wouldn't put that in until very end. Any fresh herbs kind of lose their spark when you cook them. Dried herbs you can add in, it kind of re-infuses them. But fresh herbs you want to add just at the end. So back in here, we've got this pork cooking. Made a bit of a mess. I'm going to go ahead and sprinkle in about a teaspoon of Chinese 5-spice. Just because I like that little added flavor of cumin and garlic. I'll throw in some garlic in there. I've got a pot of chicken stock boiling over here. I'm just going to drop in some vermicelli at the end, and you can, that's kind of the completion to the meal. Okay, so the vegetables are cooking nicely. I threw in 2 tablespoons, or you can do 2 to 3 cloves of garlic if you like. I'm just going to hit in a tiny bit of olive oil, turn my heat down just a touch, and I'm going to throw those eggs in there and fry them up with that. So we've got these eggs that we blended in together right into there, and I'm just going to fry it up. And let that cook. You're basically going to get that scrambled egg in there. And around the edges, I'm just going to start sprinkling. I have just some shredded cabbage. And it can just kind of start steaming. Gonna add in there some pepper, just a sprinkle to your tasting, probably half a teaspoon. A little bit of salt. You need a little extra salt in that veggies, but not overly, because I'm also gonna come in with some soy sauce. Now I'm using a dark mushroom soy sauce. You can, whatever soy sauce you have in your cabinet. I'm gonna add about 1/4 of a cup of soy sauce. It's going to give a lot of flavor. As well as just in my other pot here with some chicken stock, I'm going to add about 1/4 of a cup of soy sauce to that as well. And that is also going to be the salt content of what I'm going to cook my vermicelli in. So I'm just going to take these vermicelli noodles, throw them in this pot I have over here that I showed you earlier. So that by the time those eggs cook in the vegetables, we've got the vermicelli just cooking. And that's just chicken stock with that little bit of soy sauce I just threw in there. And those won't take long at all because they're super, super thin. All right, so we have this egg cooking. Scrambled eggs. Doesn't look super appealing just yet, but adds a little of that extra good protein. I'm going to do a little drizzle, about a teaspoon of sesame oil. And then knock in those 2 tablespoons of ginger. Now it looks like a little bit more. You can add, depending on how much heat you want, as much or as little ginger as you like. Fresh ginger, you're always going to need a little more than a dried. So dried, throw in 1 teaspoon, but a fresh, I'm throwing in about 2 tablespoons. We really like ginger. All right. A little taste. All right, so like I said, add as much or as little flavor as you like. This is our egg roll that I'm not actually going to roll, but rather serve it in a bowl. Now you could serve this over top of rice, over top of the vermicelli noodles, or you can dish it up just like I am. I'm actually going to throw in just a touch more cabbage here because I like a lot of vegetable and I want to brighten it up a little bit. And I've got 5 people to feed, so this goes a long way for making a dinner on a very low budget. You've just got that pork, 2 carrots, 3 ribs of celery, and a little bag of shredded cabbage, and you've got a meal on a dime here. All right, I like the look of that a little better. I'm always changing up a recipe if I don't quite like it, or I want to change it to how I like or how it's going to suit my family. You go ahead and do that as well. However it works for you. The joy of cooking to me is that I get to make it however I want. I don't like following a recipe. There's no certain way. There's no right way or wrong way. My kids would tell you I say different. There's my way or the highway, but not always true. All right, so I'm going to finish scooping some of this into my lettuce. And I try and cut back on carbs. So I love a lettuce wrap. I don't care if it's a burger. I don't care if it's this kind of meal, but if you can wrap it in lettuce, I feel like I actually get to eat more of it. All right, so I'm just going to quickly show you here what I've got prepared. So I had some spring rolls in the oven to accompany it, and that there is our egg roll in a bowl. And you can serve it any which way. Like I said, I got some vermicelli noodles. I could throw some vermicelli noodles in with this mixture, and you've got yourself a meal. Enjoy your lunch.